engineers in hard hats used handheld remote controls to drive the irregularly shaped, silver-sheeted object inch by inch into the belly of the aircraft. It took an hour to stow it. The project was the brainchild of a reclusive British-based billionaire, a man who had the money to do anything he wanted. Oxfordshire, UK. RAF Bryce Norton was used to some unusual flights, but the arrival an hour before dawn of the AN 225, the first ever British landing by this unique aircraft, created quite a stir. A sizable media presence was there to see the unloading onto the specially made 22-axle Nautaboom low loader and the huge convoy of cranes and marshalling vehicles which were to accompany it on its 100-mile journey via the M40, M25 and A3. Although about the same length as a wind turbine tower, the cargo was much heavier. The convoy travelled at 10 miles an hour, accompanied by a 5-mile tailback of frustrated drivers, until it finally left the A3 and headed into the Surrey countryside. The smaller roads to its final destination had been closed off in advance by arrangement with the police. The UK traffic management plan alone had cost £500,000, one of the smaller overheads of the exercise. Onlookers lined the lanes as the lorry crawled the last 3 miles to Westgrave Hall. There, waiting for it, were 3 giant 8-wheeled cranes, their jibs already arching into the sky over a half-completed building. Teams of high-vis jacketed construction workers, helmeted in orange, oversaw the cargo's final movement. It was a 300-yard lift from the road and into the building. That was not too far in general construction terms, but for the 240-ton relic within, it was a monumental piece of travel. Arrangements took much of the day, and it was almost 5 in the afternoon when the enormous silver-jacketed cargo was finally lifted from the low loader and manoeuvred across into the building that had been designed to receive it. A lad on a bicycle stopped to watch, amazed at the hundreds of people who had gathered in this normally quiet rural lane. He pointed at the now suspended object, its huge shadow falling across the crowd in the late afternoon sunshine. "What's in that thing?" he asked to no one in particular. "Haven't you read the papers, Stephen?" replied Mary Hill, the verger of St. Michael All Saints Parish Church. "It's a giant fossil, 170 million years old." "Is it a T-Rex?" "No, it's a fish-eating plesiosaur, even bigger than a Tyrannosaurus." "Cool." Mrs. Hill's husband Colin leaned towards the boy. "It is, apparently, the largest one ever found. It used to swim in shallow tropical seas in what is now Central Asia." "Why's it coming here?" Stephen replied, scratching his ear. "You'd better ask the Russian chap who owns Westgrave Hall," Colin replied. For the previous 6 months, a continuous stream of construction traffic had poured into the grounds of Westgrave Hall. Quarry trucks rattled and roared down the narrow lane, churning up the manicured grass verges, carving ruts through the carefully cultivated roadside wildflowers, spreading mud and drowning out the birds' song. Late into the night, the growl of diesel engines and reversing beeps could be heard, only stopping for a few hours before beginning again at 7 in the morning. Pile driving seemed to begin at the crack of dawn, each impact a mini earthquake which rattled crockery throughout the village. Arc lights on crane jibs lit up the night sky in mockery of the moon, confusing the birds who began singing into the small hours. On occasion, the rhythmic thudding of a helicopter heralded the arrival of the estate's new owner. The villagers, curious or furious, and sometimes both, regularly congregated on the rocky outcrop at the back of the churchyard, with sandwiches, scones and thermos flasks of coffee supplied by the Women's Institute, to peer across the road and over Westgrave Estate's high stone walls. It was the best vantage point in the village to give a view into what was happening. There, on Buckridge Mount, where an Iron Age fort once stood, a concrete and glass